Um, Xbox asserts Hi-Fi Rush was a breakout hit amid claims it underperformed. Yo, this game was so dope. This game was so good. Xbox says Tango's. I mean, if you can get through the tutorial, right, Wick? Xbox says Tango's surprise drop hits its goals. Um, Hi-Fi Rush was a bit of a surprise drop earlier this year and certainly made a splash, but as a report circulated that it did not hit its revenue target, Xbox is saying that Hi-Fi Rush was a breakout hit. The back and forth started when journalist Jeff Grubb on the Game Mess Decides podcast said that Hi-Fi Rush fell short of what it needed to do. Quote, based on what I've heard, it just straight up didn't make the money it needed to make, Grubb said. And I mean, it got good reviews. Buzz was good. So where do you put the blame for something like that? And it's like, is it the price? Was it the shadow drop? Could it have sold more? Or is it Game Pass? Grubb went on to clarify on Twitter that according to what he's heard, Hi-Fi Rush didn't make the money it was expected to make. But to be clear, I don't really know how Microsoft measures success. This was just a small passing statement in a larger conversation. It wasn't meant to make people worry about Hi-Fi Rush. Peter, what's up, buddy? How you doing, man? I'm great, man. I'm great. Happy Saturday, dude. The conversation about this and how success is determined for Xbox games carried on through social media. Eventually, Aaron Greenberg, the VP of Xbox Games Marketing at Microsoft, stepped in to comment. Quote, Hi-Fi Rush was a breakout hit for us and our players in all key measurements and expectations, Greenberg said. We couldn't be happier with what the team at Tango Gameworks delivered with this surprise release. I'm glad that he came out and said that because that is what this actually is. No matter how you want to. So honest, obviously the success of this is going to be measured in different ways. This is a game that yeah, I mean, this was a game from a big developer under Microsoft and under Bethesda also that got shadow dropped, like they said. It got dropped at a $30 price point, which is under half of what games drop, AAA games drop at nowadays on release. It was also on Game Pass day one. So there are different ways to measure what this did for Tango as a developer, for Bethesda as the publisher, and as the parent company to Tango, and obviously as for Microsoft and Xbox who own Bethesda, right? So there are different ways to measure the success of this, but nobody can deny the fact that for a lot of people right now, this is Game of the Year. And that in and of itself is a huge, huge thing. Now, we've still got a lot of the year to go. It's April. We got almost 3/4 of the year left, but Hi-Fi Rush. Take this to the bank, dude. Hi-Fi Rush is going to be up for all kinds of Game of the Year awards. When we hit December and we start doing Game of the Year awards stuff, it's going to be all over the place. I don't know if it's going to sweep or anything like that because we have a lot of games that are still going to release this year. And we got to, it's going to depend on what a lot of these other titles bring to the table for us experience-wise and content-wise. But I'm telling you, Hi-Fi Rush is going to be in the conversation in a lot of these categories. What's up, Kayla? Happy Saturday. Ooh, Kayla, you're off today, huh? What are you doing today, Kayla? Grubb then quote tweeted and followed up with another clarification. I shouldn't have said needed on the podcast, Grubb said. I don't know what it needed to do. The conversation we're having was about generating revenue, and the game didn't hit that target. But no matter what, Hi-Fi Rush isn't a flop, and Tango's future is bright. For sure. I said this earlier when we found this article. I was even skeptical about this game when it dropped, and I felt very, very bad about that because I love Tango. Even before Hi-Fi Rush, I love Tango. I'm a huge fan of the Evil Within games, and I have apologized time and time again for the way that I initially received Hi-Fi Rush when it was announced because I had been wanting Evil Within 3 for so long. But I'm always talking about the need for developers to showcase their ability to be versatile and agile in the development of their games and be able to move outside of their norm, outside of their box of what they are constantly creating. You know, there are a lot of devs that get stuck in these patterns of making the same kinds of games. And then when they try to do something different, they can't do it, or they can't do it very well. Tango has shown us they're a versatile, big developer. They're good at what they do all the way around. They don't have to just make horror games. They can make all kinds of different stuff. They can make rhythm-based, hack and slashers. You know what I mean? It's that are lighthearted with a totally different visual art style. It's a very refreshing thing to see. And I've had to apologize for it because I felt very bad after you know, my initial reaction to that drop from Tango, and then playing Hi-Fi Rush and being absolutely blown away by this game. Regardless of what the goal is, Hi-Fi Rush was pretty cool by all accounts. Whether every target was hit or not, I'm personally hoping both it and Pentiment become a regular thing for Xbox, as I've really enjoyed these surprise passion projects. Agreed. Yeah. So it is, it's a hard thing to determine. I've talked about this a lot too. The just doing laundry all day, that's a lot of laundry. The Xbox's golden goose is Game Pass, right? So anybody that's going to take a look at just what a game like Hi-Fi Rush did, strictly off of being purchased as a game itself at that price point, as a singular title, that's not fair. It's not fair to do that, because what this was, it was something that I am quite certain brought a lot of people into at least a month's worth, if not more, of a subscription to Game Pass, just initially, specifically to play that game, and then probably played a lot of other games on their platform too. Game Pass is their golden goose, man. It is their jam. It's what they do. It's what's allowed them. It's what's allowed Xbox to succeed, especially in competition. Their main competitor being PlayStation. It's what's allowed them to really be a huge competitor in the gaming market for roughly the past, when did it start? 2017, for quite a while. And so a game like this can't just be measured in what it did profit-wise as a just selling as a purchase just for the title. You've got to look at what it did for that time period when it released and people came in and got subscription services probably just to play that game. It's a hard thing to quantify because you can't tell specifically, right? But there's a lot of different areas in which you've got to take a look at how this could have been very successful for Tango, Bethesda, Microsoft, and Xbox all the way around, right?